Yeah, hi, it's John here. Now then, been thinking about doing a video about location of God. Now, now you might say, if you knew where God was, you'd make a lot of money, because you could ask him what the lottery numbers were going to come up, because it's been said that God is outside of time, so he would know all these, or she would know all these things about which lottery numbers were going to come up. But that's all a bit flippant, really. No, the term location of God. If someone decides that they believe in God, it could be said to be authentic, or an authentic question, a realistic question to say, well, where do you think God is? And then they would have to say, they could say, God is in my thoughts. God is right deep in my mind. God is in my subconscious. God is somehow in my head. That sort of area. Now, maybe I've said 4 things there, and maybe they're all 4 different things. I'm not sure, but I've said in a previous video that I believe there's an awful lot in my head which I am not in control of. I think my subconscious has an operatus mandi. No, what is it? Kind of operatus mandi. No, what is that term? I don't know. Modus operandi. That's it. My subconscious has a modus operandi, all of its own. I mean, I'm not in control, and none of us are in control. And you could easily locate God there. Some people locate God as a first cause. Someone that started the whole thing off. There was a first cause in the Big Bang, perhaps, or somehow God was like an architect in some design studio. And how should we design this thing that it all goes from a single organism to a very complex organism, which in the year which the humans call 2013, the most complex organism is the human brain, for that's what the human thinks. So that you could say that God was the first cause way back. There was a designer, and he was the designer. No, it's not particularly in favour at the moment, is it, that one? Or one could say that God is somehow in evolution. The design is always being reassessed, because there is an intelligence in design. There's an intelligence in creation. I mean, they're all good ones. I mean, I'm not saying one's better than the other. I mean, it's a matter of personal not belief, but personal choice, isn't it? Where one would locate God. As I've said in a previous video, if one is an out-and-out atheist, I think this says more about one's state of mind. Like a rebellion. It's almost like a rebellion against God, isn't it? If you're an atheist, because well, that's what I think anyway. It's my humble opinion. Where else could you locate God? I mean, you could. Of course, it wasn't too difficult in the medieval times, because you could locate him somehow on another planet in another dimension, and that wasn't a problem then, was it? Because no one had been out to other planets, and of course the Vatican and the Church had great interest in astronomy. And they've even got their own telescopes and things, They were looking, they caricature it. They were looking for God up there in the sky. And what was it, Yuri Gagarin? He didn't actually say it apparently, but he's quoted as saying that he said, "What's it like up here?" And he said, "Oh, I didn't see God up there." Well, of course, it was in the best interests of the atheist communist regime, wasn't it, to say that there was no God, because it was an atheist regime and there was no God up in the sky. So it's got all sorts of political ramifications, hasn't it, this belief in God. And I've always got the thought that the conversion of the Roman Empire was more about social control than actual belief in God. They saw that Christians, they were passive, and they had a sort of work ethic. They could be controlled. Hey, this Christianity is a good laugh. We better go for this. The conversion of Constantine. Was it 587? Something like that. Location of God. What do I believe in? I believe in God because, I know I could not make a human body. I know that's a stupid thing to say, but sometimes I can feel the blood going through my veins, and I wouldn't know where to start if I was going to create a human body. And I certainly wouldn't be able to create one without an awful lot of help. And also I've said about the subconscious that I believe it has a sort of life of its own. And you've got the old problem of what happens after we're dead, and before we were born, when we cease to exist. So in that way, I know I'm not God, but I know I'm here. So I do believe in God, but I'm not particularly specific. But the areas I've mentioned are areas which I would consider in my evaluation. Of course, another thing is about God being from outer space, from an alien, and some sort of alien thing. I think that's gone out the window a bit now with all the telescopes and viewing now. And anyway, that's enough from me. Right, bye.